This is my PSA for people who want to become a deaf doula, which is usually doulas are people who help women facilitate the birth process, and deaf doulas are people who facilitate the transitioning process into the afterlife. But what I've started to notice is, for example, just this week I received an email from this company called Lamort. There are several deaf doulas who give classes, and I think I signed up for one of them at one point, and I just found out that one of them just got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And I just looked at my Udemy purchase list. I bought a class like a couple years ago because right after my mom died, um, to help with like processing grief, etc. It's a really long class. It's like 84 hours or something like that. But I was just reading the summary, and then it says in the class, oh, when we started this class, there was 5 teachers. Guess who? How many of those 5 teachers are left? Only one. And it's only been over like a 6-year period. And so what I'm realizing is that a lot of these people who are deaf doulas, who, how do I put this? So, yes, there is a need for the logistical side. There's the legal things, there's the estate planning, the wills, the funerary costs, dealing with the funeral home, dealing with the hospital or the morgue, dealing with cremation or having a funeral, open casket, closed casket, prices with all of that stuff. There is a logistical part to transition with death, especially in the United States, or if it happens abroad and you got to ship the body. There's so many different things to go into, plus the grieving process, which is a psychology and counseling aspect of it. But there's also the spiritual aspect, which I'm seeing a lot of these deaf doulas are just skipping, and that's why they're getting sick, because there is so many different things that are involved with the transition from a spirit, from a body to another realm, that they're not talking about that. It's almost like they're trying to start to say like white explain or like Western explain a spiritual phenomenon, and then is leaving them open to the spiritual implications of what things happen when people transition and when things go wrong. For example, what if the person's spirit decides to linger around the doula, the deaf doula, or the family? What happens if their spirit never transitions? What if that spirit passed away in an abrupt way? What if that spirit is confused or religiously, non-religiously about where they're going to go, or what's going to happen to them in the afterlife if they pass away in a very surprising, unfortunate, negative way? That energy is very hot and volatile and can also be aggressive, which also can cause, if things take root in your energetic core and it happens with enough times, that's how, you can get cancer. You can get sick. You can, things will suck the life force out of you. Spirits that have not passed on, they will suck the life force out of you and you will pass away very quickly. These are all things that can happen when you're facilitating transition. So you can't just look at it from a therapist view or a psychological view or a scientific view or just, how do we get rid of take care of the body and that's it. That is why in a lot of culture, even in Catholic, priests know how to do the correct rites to help with the transition. In a lot of ATRs, there's specific rites that are done. Hinduism, Buddhism, even I believe in Judaism, they do different rites. So there are spiritual elements to transition that need to be dealt with, and if they're not dealt with, a person who chooses to be a deaf doula can take on some of the negative implications of those lingering issues onto themselves and in the end cause yourself to have an early exit, which is happening to a lot of these death doulas and teachers who are not as spiritually inclined doing this work. Maybe not just spiritually inclined, they don't know the correct methods to cleanse themselves of that energy or of that spirit that's lingering in order for them to be successful and be healthy doing this work.